In this particular generation, children are showing great alertness, great potential, but at the same time, they're showing the openness to engage in iPhones and media gadgets that are beginning through the process of the communication that is coming through those to influence them so greatly. So today they're different in that their inputs are very, very different than they used to be. Used to be in the older days, there wasn't nearly as much of the development of today in terms of communication, and they were being influenced by their parents, by their grandparents. It was through the family unit. And then as development began to grow and the life of the city came into existence in the 1800s, children then began to have a different kind of experience and where they got their input from. But today, it's coming in a unique way that's never been true like this in the history, where they're getting whatever is being communicated from the world. And they're spending so much time with the gadgets receiving these, some of them it's up to 7 hours a day attached to some kind of a gadget that is communicating a message that isn't the values that have normally come in the past. That's why they're in a very unique place. There was a situation in London where all of a sudden there was a great disturbance in the city. There was a swath of property that was destroyed. There were buildings that were burnt. It spread to the other cities. And they found that there was a network. They were communicating through social media to one another about avoiding the police over here and over there. And it turned out when they rounded up 1,000 of them, that the majority were younger people, were in that age bracket. There was one out of the 1,000 that was only 11 years old. And they were arrested. So they began to think, what is happening? How is this different to previous generations? And what they found was these two things. The social media was carrying the message so much faster that they could use that in ways that were beneficial. And so this is one thing that could happen to avoid whatever was in their way. But the other thing that they recognized, and this was from a historian by the name of Max Hastings, who wrote in the Daily Mirror, the British newspaper there. He said, how do we explain this? And his answer, thinking about it, looking at history, was that they were influenced by two things. One was the fact that they had lost their moral compass. And the other was the fact that they were not finding any longer any known model of family to be an example to them within their own homes as roles. And so these two things are what makes children today in a very different place than they were over the past.